All right, y'all. We live from Out the Bench podcast once again. I just want to first off and just thank everybody. If you are tuning in to this video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. And I just appreciate you just for taking your time out your day and watching this episode for me. But in this episode, we got numerous different things we're gonna talk about today. Game one of the second round of the semifinals for the Western Conference, Denver versus Minnesota Timberwolves. Game one was tonight. We're gonna discuss about that. But before we get into that, we got different things we're gonna talk about the what the Clippers offseason gonna look like after just getting eliminated, Dallas moving on, New York Knicks and the Philadelphia, so on and so forth. So we got some good topics we're gonna talk about, good basketball. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it because the game that just came off, man, was a good game. One was a good way to start it off, and I can't wait to discuss that game. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start off. And the first thing I just want to go ahead and kick off is just we already know. I've been on this podcast before the playoffs even started, talking about who had the number one pressure, the top team that had the most pressure head on them heading into the playoffs. And right on top of that list, we had the Los Angeles Clippers. And guess what? Because I had the Los Angeles Clippers, knowing that PG, Kawhi, they've been together for some time now for the Los Angeles Clippers, 5-6 years since they've been together as a duo. I only got one Western Conference, no finals appearance to show for it. Been having trouble to get them both on the court together at the same time. Um, just got eliminated last year in the first round. So heading into this playoffs, you acquired James Harden. You were looking good throughout the season when you first got him, and everybody thought y'all had a real shot and real opportunity to to make a real contention push and to be able to go into the playoffs and make a real run. But hey, man, you end up coming short. Now, ultimately, the series came down just to Paul George for real. It's too many times that Paul George has not answered the call or answered the bell whenever the Los Angeles Clippers needed them to. When they absolutely needed Paul George to be the best player on their team to elevate his teammates, to elevate his level of play on a consistent game in and game out basis, he just wasn't unable to do that since he arrived from the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, outside of that 2021 run, yes, he was great in that 2021 run when Kawhi went down. He ended up, making it to the Western Conference Finals, pushing the Phoenix Suns to 6 games before ultimately losing. But hey, man, Paul George in this series against Dallas, he been bad. He been very mid. He averaged 19 and a half points per game throughout this series, which is not winning basketball when it's playoff time. Especially with Kawhi being out, you need 25 to 26 points a game. You might not need 30, but with him, you need a level of production, level of play from Paul George to be way, way better than what it was. And it just, I don't know what to say about Playoff P. Podcast P, as I should say. Playoff P, he don't deserve that name. That's his self-proclaimed name. He don't deserve it. He didn't play like it. Uh, James Harden, he averaged 21 points, 8 assists throughout this series. I feel like he did what he was supposed to do with James coming in, being assertive, being kind of taking on that point guard role, getting everybody else involved, and kind of, looking for a shot last. Even though the Kawhi was out, I feel like he did more of his fair share on his end of 21-8. I want to say those are just odd appealing the numbers or anything like that, but at this current state of James Harden career, 21-8 for the type of role that he was playing on this team, I think that was very solid for the type of production you did. Like I said, if you just get Paul George to step up to the moment, step up and rise up to the occasion. If Paul George played how Paul George played in Game 4. Outside of Game 4, Paul George he's been trash this whole series. He's been garbage. He's been the Mavericks' best player, if I should say, throughout this whole series. Outside of Game 4, now if you got anything like Game 4, like Paul George, like the Game 4 and Paul George, how he played any other game, maybe the series would have been different. Now that's leading up to this. Like I said, why they had so much pressure leading into the playoffs, because last year they just got bounced out the first round. Kawhi, he ended up playing the first 2 games. In the last 4 games, he was a no. I mean, the last he played the first 2 games. Last 3 games, he was a no show. He wasn't there. Um, he ended up getting hurt, being out. Paul George played none in that series last year against Phoenix in the first round. You come back this year, you get Paul George here. Kawhi played 1 or 2 games in this series and haven't played. Uh, these guys are getting older, and as you see, as we watching from this playoffs, the league is just getting younger, younger, and younger. And you gotta look at this Los Angeles Clippers team. Just look at we got Paul, we got Kawhi Leonard, who is injury prone, and he's getting older. He got knees of an 80-year-old lady. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take that into account. You got to think that the league's getting old, getting younger. They're getting older. Paul George, he up for a contract. You know, are you willing to pay these guys like the Paul George who's getting older, and you see the type of level of production that he's giving you? Are you willing to pay a James Harden? You know what I'm saying? Who's getting older, and you don't know how many years, and obviously, I think you could count on James Harden being available, but you don't know what type of James Harden you're gonna get, especially come postseason time. We understand that his level of play kind of drops off come playoff time. But to me personally, I just think it's time. It's time to just blow up this whole thing with the Los Angeles Clippers. That's why I was like they had the most pressure because you have to win now with the type of team that you have, the type of money that you went out and you sacrifice all your team, your draft picks, you got your team and all of this for Paul George, and you go out to get a Russell Westbrook, you go out to get a James Harden just to get bounced out the first round the last 2 years. That is not acceptable. That's not acceptable. You got to think since 2021 they haven't been past the first round because after 2021, Kawhi he pretty much missed out through the whole season. That's when they had got bounced in the play-in game. Following that year, they came back last season against the Phoenix Suns. They lost in 5. Paul George didn't play none of that game. I mean, none of that series. Then you get Kawhi Leonard playing like 1 or 2 games. Following this year, same thing. So with the Los Angeles Clippers, just time to start fresh. If I'm Steve Ballmer, we already getting a new arena. We getting new everything. We getting out the building. You might as well just start fresh and like you got some young assets that you can. I feel that you got a very good young core that you can build around them, a solid young core, I should say, that you can build around and kind of make something happen. Like I said, a shift in the league, the dynamic of the league is changing. It's going younger. It's going. They're getting longer. They're getting more athletic. Uh, like I said, you got start fresh. You got Zubac. A decent big man who's still growing in this league. He's 27 years old. Bones Highland. Uh, a good electrifying point guard. Who I feel like who needs a more extended role to be able to see what he really is and see him grow up as a player and see him mature. He's 23 years old. You got Terrence Mann, 27 years old. Coffee, he's 26 years old. You got Brandon Boston on your bench, 22 years old. I think those are the guys that you need to look at and be like, okay, these are the guys that I need to invest in. I need to take look into and start building my team around these guys instead of looking at the Paul George and the James Harden trying to bring them back. Look at the young guys and try to build pieces around that. Because you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, you look at the Orlando Magic, you look at even the Boston Celtics, they still fairly young over there. You look at the New York Knicks and you just look at the landscape of the playoff and how it's shaping out and just the league. They're just getting younger. And, I just don't think with the Clippers bringing back Paul George, bringing back James Harden, and running it back with those big three with Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard, he's injury prone. Paul George, he's iffy. James Harden, iffy. With Memphis coming back with Ja Morant, because Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies definitely gonna be right back in that contention once Ja get back healthy. I feel like the Houston Rockets, we seen what they is. You get him you're under the belt with Ime Udoka over there coaching that team. They're gonna play hard. Alfred Şengün, hopefully he can recover, get back 100% healthy for his team. I just think the future is bright for the Houston Rockets. That's also a young team over there as well. You got so many of these young teams that's on the rise, and that's what you just got to start looking into. So I just think but enough of the Clippers. I just want to say congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks. They beat them. They was the better team to me. They were more physical. Kyrie Irving, he been rewriting his history. He been rewriting his story. I feel like right now the way Kyrie Irving is playing, if he can be able to finish the job and get it done, and ultimately getting his team over the hump and winning the championship, I think that would change the whole, narrative of the narrative on Kyrie Irving. the type of I'm trying to see the word I'm trying to look for, the type of rat that he got on his name, the rap that he got on his name, a player cancer, a locker room cancer and all this, the type of noise that he had when he was in Brooklyn, and just to come over with Dallas to get a fresh start, a full year and the opportunity just to see just the growth and just to be able to change teams. I just think, for him to win there, no LeBron, obviously, you win without LeBron. That a lot of people say he haven't had much playoff success without him and all these different things. I just think that if he can be able to complete this run, and he keep playing at the level he playing, to change the narrative about him. He already feel like he got snubbed out the top 75 list, which I feel like he got snubbed as well too. So uh, just shout out to them, to the Dallas Mavericks. They two best players would play like they two best players. Kyrie averaged 26.5 points, 6 rebounds. Luka averaged 30 points, 9.5 assists. That's what you need for your two best players if you want to make going far. Extend your play. You just didn't get that from the Clippers, and ultimately, you see what happened. Another man bites the dust. But I just think ultimately, you know, what I got from this series that it's just time for the Clippers just to go ahead, try something different. Bring some different guys in, bring some new names in. Just to start different, start fresh. But congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks moving on to the next round where they'll be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I'll be talking about. Those previewing those matchups in tomorrow's episode. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe, like, comment if you're still watching this video. You know what I'm saying? But moving on, we got the Cavaliers versus the Magic. The Magic end up forcing a game 7 with a 103-96 win. And hey man, I don't know where to start with this series, but I'm gonna start with the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, they got to get it together. They got to get it together. If they lose this series, boy, all hell might break loose. You brought Donovan Mitchell here. Everybody thought DG and Donovan Mitchell, they were gonna be this top 5 backcourt duo, this hell of a tandem, and it just haven't been living up to expectations. Really, what you've been getting. You know, you lose game 6, you lose game 6. You had an opportunity to win the game. You get 50 points from Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley, where you at? You supposed to be this young superstar on the team, this young franchise player. I'm not gonna say franchise player, but he's the player caliber player that the Cleveland Cavaliers they looking on to depend on when it comes playoff season time. Playoff time to elevate his level of play. Obviously, he getting it done on the defensive side of the ball, but we need him to score points. 4 points not gonna be able to get it done when you trying to win a game. And once you playing against the Orlando Magic team, which I gotta tip my hat off to the Orlando Magic. I didn't expect this type of series out of them, with them being a very young team, a first time team outside of Joe Ingles with type of no playoff experience at all. Nobody on that team except for Joe Ingles. I'm thinking it was gonna be a 5-6 game series max, but they came out showing me different. Now they heading back to Cleveland where they got a chance to shock the world. Shock everybody. They got a chance to. I think they got a very good chance of winning Game 7, still in Game 7. Even though it's at Cleveland, because you got to think the way them Orlando is guarding that, the way that Orlando is guarding the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're basically making them uh jump shooting team. Which Evan Mobley, he's not really a jump shooter. Isaac Okoro, he's not really a jump shooter. You got Karis LeVert, not really a jump shooter. And I'm naming these type of guys because those are the guys that are playing, and the guys that are defending guys like Paolo, Franz Wagner, and those are the guys that's on the floor. We know with DG and Donovan Mitchell, they can space the floor and all those things. But I just told you, Darius Garland not having the best of series. He's just not having the best of games. The last 2 games, he's been fairly decent, 22, 20, 22, 23 points. That's okay. That's not enough to get it done, at this level. You got to be able to get to those 25, 26s, to that 30 plateau mark to be able to, what I'm saying, if you want to push your team over the hump. And they just right now, they're playing in dangerous territory. You get 50 points from your best player, Donovan Mitchell. He scored every single point for your team in the fourth quarter, which is crazy to me, mind-boggling that you had 18 points in the fourth quarter and that all came from one player. That should let you know something right there. On top of defensive pressure that the Orlando Magic, is putting on the Cleveland Cavaliers right now is it just crazy. But you just got to give props and credit to the Orlando Magic being a young gritty team. They kind of show you they've been showing you who they was all season, and that's the biggest thing that a lot of people like to look off box scores, like to watch highlights. If you don't really watch basketball, I'm talking about really watch basketball, watch the full games, and not just games that come on the TV. You have to watch the games on League Pass. You got to watch, you know, you gotta watch these. You gotta watch the games to be able to know. And once a team show you who they are, you gotta believe that. And that's how I feel about the Clippers. The Clippers, they done showed us many years who they are. So it's time to separate what it is. Orlando Magic, they've been showing us all year. They're gonna be one of the feistiest team on defense. They're gonna compete hard. They got good size. They got Lynn. They got a young stud and Paulo Banquer, and a good running mate, Franz Wagner, and they've been showing you who they are. And now it's coming to, it's coming in full circle right now in the playoffs. Paulo Banquero, it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful sight. Like I said, we got like the guys like Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Now Paulo Banquero, he's averaging 20. He averaging 25 points per game this series, and just to see his growth and for him to be a first time, for this to be his first time in a playoff setting, just to see his confidence stay high, stay risen, to be able to his play stay at a consistent even kill, to be able to get to his spots and be able to elevate his game for a team, to be able to put his team in a position to be able to advance in a playoff series. I didn't really expect that from him, but he got the good skill set. He taking his time. He taking what the defense give him. He's not forcing anything, and he's making big shot at the big shot at the big shot. Whenever Paulo Banquero time for the best player to be the best player on the floor, best player for the team, even he's coming up big. He's making big shots. He's making turnarounds. He's getting to the rack. He's getting to the rim. In that mid range game right now, boy, looking killer. With that 6'9" frame, he's getting to that mid range. He getting to that face up game right there, and his silkery touch. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Paulo and the growth that we seeing from all these young players in real time right now. But especially from Paulo, because I just didn't expect this from a Magic team as a whole, for this, just to be a young team, little to no experience playoff wise, even a coach a little to no experience playoff wise. I gotta tip my hat out to them. Now, Game 7 is tomorrow. You know, what the Cleveland Cavaliers gonna do, barbecue meal do. Y'all let me know in the comments who y'all got in Game 7, because this will be posted tonight. Who y'all got, the Cavaliers or the Orlando Magic? And man, I got the Orlando Magic pulling up a offset, a upset, because they just got the defensive versatility to make it hard on them. It's kind of hard to score on them. They loading up, being at the nail. When you got a starting lineup where everybody in your starting lineup outside of one person is 6'8" and above, it make it real tough on the offensive end. What they doing right now for the Cleveland Cavaliers, making them a jump shooting team, which the Cleveland Cavaliers have been killing in the paint, which will kind of keeping them alive in this series and will kept them alive last game, because they've been shooting poorly from the field all series. But I just think that's the key right now. If the Magic can just be able to contain, the paint touches and the paint points, there's no doubt in my mind that the Orlando Magic will win Game 7. If Paulo can continue to perform like this, you got a good performance and solid performance from Jalen Suggs last game. Franz Wagner, he pinched in 26. He did what he did. It's supposed to have been the good cold start that he been playing. You're gonna need more of that in Game 7 tomorrow. And yeah, that's what I got, man. But moving on, next series, which probably been the best first round series. The Knicks, they end up advancing, beating the Philadelphia 76ers in 6 games, 118-115, man. Uh Jalen Brunson, he got New York looking good. He got New York looking like real title contenders. He got there's no New York on fire. I know you know how delusional New York fans is. If you ask New Yorker, I bet they going to the championship. They beating anybody. They winning the ring this year since they beat the Philadelphia 76ers. They riding in their high horses, the cocktails high. Hey man, can't tell New York is nothing, man, right now. They untouchable, but rightfully so. They've been playing good basketball, they've been playing hard. Um they beat a Philadelphia 76er team, even though, Joel Embiid was on one leg. He was playing with half a face, you know, but it was just a good series, um from the New York Knicks. You got good contributions from Josh Hart, OG Wananobi, Dante DiVincenzo. You know, obviously, and Jalen Brunson. Excuse me, Jalen Brunson. He been taking that next step, that next leap. A lot of noise been around his name. Like, can you be able to win with Jalen Brunson as your best player on the championship team, with him being so small and undersized and being an undersized guard? Will you be able to win with him and how playoff leverage moments and how playoff games? And I think he has answered that call and answered that bill and put that type of narrative to bed, man. Even coming out here straight balling in this first round, his last 3 games of this series been at least 40 points or better. 40 points or better. That boy been out there hooping for the series. Uh, he was averaging 35 and a half points on the series. Just to let you know the level of play that he was playing with. And hey, them boys on fire in New York right now. New York Knicks, they rolling. They playing with a lot of intensity, a lot of confidence right now. You got Josh Hart doing transition step back threes. You got Dante DiVincenzo. He was already having a career year shooting the ball. He's shooting that rock. He's shooting the three, getting to the paint, defending at a high level, rebounding, doing all those good things. OG Wananobi, he's shooting the ball. He rebounding a good pickup that they end up getting right before the trade deadline. New York, they're just playing like a good team right now. Tom Thibodeau, he gonna coach them boys, make sure they play hard, make sure they play physical. They're gonna be real scrappy. They're gonna be scrappy as hell. So I like the way New York been playing, and with Jalen Brunson, the way he been playing right now, I can't count them out in the next round, which we're gonna get into the who they face in their second round series tomorrow, like I said. But they're gonna be a handful and I just like what I seen from the New York Knicks and what I seen from Jalen Brunson. Uh, Hopefully that Jalen Brunson can be able to keep this level of play up, because a lot of people didn't know that Jalen Brunson can really hoop like this, playing alongside Luka. Um, so him just having the full keys of the team to be able to showcase his skills on this stage and be the best player on a team that's trying to contend for a championship, to be able to prove all the haters wrong. This where you spend those 10,000 hours where they pay off. Those late nights, them early mornings, those 3 days, those 2 days. Those times you didn't want to work out, where everybody seen the viral clip when him and his dad was outside in the park working out. Those type of days where games like this, a series like this, moments like this, it pay off. So shout out to Jalen Brunson, man, the series that he had, and advancing and putting the city of New York on his back. That's really what he doing, putting the city of New York on his back. But for the Philadelphia standpoint, you know, uh, this one hurt. Obviously, you get this one hurt, but I don't think it's the end. A lot of people been saying, what should Joel do? Should he leave? Should he request a trade? Should he do this? Should he do that? Me, I think personally, I just think Joel Embiid just need to look at himself in the mirror. Right now I understand he got the face thing going on, looking like Slade, looking like the dude from Batman. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the dude from Batman who got the shit burnt off at the end. You don't know what I'm talking about? Hey man, just go look it up right now. The I think his name was Dan Harvey, some shit like that. But yeah, he just gotta look at himself in the mirror and be like, man, I gotta be there for my teammates. I gotta be there for for the organization, for my teammates, for Tyrese Maxey. Also, just gotta be there for myself. I owe it to myself to be able to make sure when it matters most that I'm be able to I'm at my tip top of my game, or the tip top of my shape, to be able to compete. Even though you might not be 100%, can we get you 90, 95, 90, 85, 80%? Instead of being 60, 65, 70%, 50%. We don't need that type of Joel heading into the playoffs or going into the playoffs, getting himself hurt into the playoffs. So I need Joel Embiid to look at himself in the mirror, take a long reflection. If he ever want to get over the hump, it gonna have to start with him. Now you seen the type of progression that Tyrese Maxey has made over this year, with James Harden being away and you putting the ball in his hands. You've seen the type of growth and the level of play that he can play with, and I think he exceeded expectation this season. With him winning Most Improved Player this year, rightfully so. Even though I think Kobe White should have won it, because nobody seen Kobe White doing the type of things that he was doing for the Chicago Bulls. But I completely understand why they gave it to Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey is a player who is going to continue to grow and continue to excel and want to get better. So I just think so. You got a player that's gonna want to win, that's dying to be great. So I just don't think you know, him calling out or leaving out of Philadelphia is the answer. You got a good running mate, you got a good Robin, you got a good partner who you feel like you could trust in, who you can go to battle with, and he gonna have your back, and vice versa. So you get Tyrese Maxey, you gotta extend him. You gotta but it all starts with Joel Embiid. Make sure he healthy, take care of his body, where he be able to play these extended games in a regular season, and make sure he can make it through the finish line from the regular season to the playoffs to the postseason, where it really matters, and that's where they need you most, the most healthiest. Because the Joel Embiid I seen before you had the meniscus injury, boy, you was killing, you was dominant, maybe probably the best player in the NBA the way you was playing. I'm not gonna lie, all you needed was 3 quarters to get 40. All Joel needed was That's why I say I gotta watch basketball, man. All Joel needed was 3 quarters to get 40. Before the meniscus, before he had the half face, before he was looking like Slade off Teen Titans, that all he needed was 3 quarters to get 40. Shit, if you played the whole game, he down there get 60 on you. You better ask Wemby. What he did to him. But yeah, but the Philadelphia 76ers, you got free agents. I feel like they can bring back Buddy Hield, Oubre, Batum, D'Anthony Melton, which I feel like he was a key piece that y'all was missing. He had got hurt. He went down midway through the season with an injury, which I feel like he would took a lot of pressure off Nicholas Batum, a lot of pressure off Kelly Oubre, as that primary defender on Jalen Brunson, giving that type of length, versatility. Just giving him another ball handler as well, be able to another player who I can feel like can give you 10 to 12 points, give you 4 to 5 rebounds, 4 to 5 assists. Just being a versatile player, an overall player that can be able to plug in. So they definitely miss D'Anthony Melton's presence out there, which you could take account into that. I definitely, those are just names that you can bring back and add into this roster. But on top of key number one is to make sure Joel Embiid look himself in the mirror and be able to come back harder, to make sure he come back in shape, to be able to make sure that he can be able to play for extended minutes or over the course of his season, and be able to go through the finish line for the playoffs and go through a full playoff run healthy, or at least 80 to 95%. And then you extend Tyrese Maxey. You know what Tyrese Maxey gonna give you and what he gonna bring. He show you this playoffs. I was very impressed with what I seen for Tyrese Maxey. He averaged 30 points this series in 6 games. The type of lead that he get, I can't say enough about Tyrese Maxey. Now, was right up there with Joel Embiid looking himself in the mirror. You got to run Tobias Harris up out of town by any means possible. Get Tobias Harris off your roster. Get him out of Philly. Get him out the state of Pennsylvania. Get him out the city of Philadelphia. Get Tobias Harris ass up out of there. Too many times the last 3 to 4 years since he signed that contract 2019, he's been ass. He's been nothing. He's been nothing short of booty butt cheeks when it come playoff time. Too many times. It was one game I looked up. That's why I say you can't buy score watch, because it was one game. I'm like, bro, damn, I forgot Tobias Harris was even out there. Like, he wasn't doing shit. Like, he wasn't doing nothing. I look up, he had 19 points. That was the most quietest, trashy 19 points I ever seen. Like, Tobias Harris, you was not effective. You was not doing nothing for the Philadelphia 76ers. You was out there just running, jumping. You win 30 minutes without scoring. You got to get Tobias ass up out of there. I think, you know, and I think we got to take a deeper look, a deeper dive into the Philadelphia 76ers organization. Because how the hell Ben Simmons, you let him rob you? How the hell you let Tobias Harris rob you? People, if you want to rob somebody without going to jail for it, play for the damn Philadelphia 76ers. Because shit, they going to give you any damn amount of money that you ask for. And after they give you the money, you ain't got to do nothing else. Because shit, highway robbery what you've been doing. But Tobias Harris, he averaged 9 points throughout the series. That's hey brother. You gotta look yourself in the mirror too. You gotta look in the gym. You gotta get in the gym. You gotta work on your game. Uh, Cause the shit that you've been putting on display, brother, the shit you've been putting on tape, it's not been delightful at all, not one bit. I'm very ashamed. I'm very disappointed in the type of level of play that you play with Tobias Harris. You look scared. You look nervous. Um, you look unprepared. Uh, you just looked out of it. You just wasn't there for the Philadelphia 76ers. But yeah, Sixers organization. Tobias Harris' contract is up. You let him run. You let him run as quick as possible. You don't even think twice about calling him back. Text him, delete his number. You know what I'm saying? Do all those things. Don't do nothing including Tobias Harris, but I definitely think the Philadelphia 76ers, they got, opportunities to improve over the offseason. I'm hearing names like Paul George being speculated, Jimmy Butler, he gonna be up for contract. Maybe can do a little signing trade, trying to acquire Brandon Ingram, do different things like that. But I definitely think that if Joel Embiid is healthy, I truly 100% in my heart believe Joel Embiid is healthy. 80 to 85, 90% come playoff time. Tyrese Maxey playing like Tyrese Maxey, who he just showed me in this playoff series, and you get a DeAnthony Melton, you get these guys back, and you add another necessary piece. There's no reason why I don't think that the 76ers can make a real push and make a real, you know what I'm saying, make real noise in the East. So, yeah, man. But I think that's that on that. Now, moving on to the last topic that we got today is probably the main event, man. Game 1 of the Denver Nuggets versus Minnesota Timberwolves. Uh With the Minnesota Timberwolves, they end up still in game 1 on the reigning defending champs' home floor, behind Anthony Edwards, 39 points. Anthony Edwards has nothing been short of sensational throughout this whole playoff so far. This man his coming out party. He letting whole league know he on notice. He letting the whole world know that his time is not coming. His time is now. He's not waiting on nobody to pass the torch. He's coming to take it. He's coming to take the mantle. And I just feel like like he said, it was no better way to do it. You win first round. You know, arguably the best shooting to me, been the best shooting guard for years in Devin Booker. You come in, you snatch your chain with Kevin Durant on the team as well. Bradley Beal. And then you come in, defend the champs. You come in game 1, you set the tone. And that's what you got to do especially when you trying to beat a team like the Denver Nuggets. You got to come in and make a statement in game 1, and make your presence felt in game 1, which I think the Timberwolves did a tremendous job of. They came out and punched them right in the mouth. I think they was down. They was up 18-4 to start off the game. Then obviously, the Denver Nuggets they bench kind of, I ain't gonna say it gave them a spark. Denver Nuggets bench gave them a spark. They end up creating turnovers, what kind of led them to be able to slow down the Minnesota Timberwolves offense and kind of let Denver Nuggets catch their rhythm. Let Michael Porter Jr. would kind of, he was the leading scorer in that second quarter, kind of made them take that push and go on that run, ultimately making the start more of a ball game. But ultimately, what the game came down to, it just the others for the Minnesota Timberwolves ultimately came down and showed up for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards halftime had 21 points. Nobody on the Timberwolves had double digits. Karl Anthony Towns had 9 points. Outside of Karl Anthony Towns, nobody had over 2 points for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you get 15 points from nobody outside. Well, Anthony Edwards had 25. You get 15 points from the rest of your team at halftime, which that was the whole question. Who is going to join Anthony Edwards on this ride? On who going to be down for the ride, down for the call, coming the second half? You know, Cat, he answered that bell. He come right out the gates firing. I think he hit his first 3, 4, 5, the first 5 shots in the second half. Can't come out blazing. Mike Conley, he ended up finishing with a double, 14-10 before he went scoreless in the first half. Ended up scoring 14 in the second half. Then you get good contributions, which I think Naz Reid was the storyteller, and he was the difference maker of this game. He was the one who hit big shot after big shot after big shot. Whenever the Minnesota Timberwolves needed a shot to to extend a run or to get them back on track, Naj Reid was the one knocking down that shot. And he didn't have the best of series last game. Last series against the Phoenix Suns. But this is what we expected from the 60 man of the year. To come in and put his imprint on his game to be able to help Anthony Edwards, and that's what the Minnesota Timberwolves kind of been, all season. A team that just don't rely on Anthony Edwards. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is the head of the snake. He is the best player on the team, and it's good to see Anthony Edwards' growth. But it's been a team effort with the Mike Conleys, with the Karl Anthony Towns, the Jay McDaniels, the defense that he been playing, the type of defense that he played on Jamal Murray. Leaving him scoreless in the first half. He had 2 points. In the first half, but first quarter leaving him scoreless, making him go 0 for 5, making it difficult. Excuse me, making it difficult on him to score the ball and do all these different things. But excuse me, y'all. Yeah, but making it difficult on them. Minnesota Timberwolves, they just been playing like a good team, but uh, the Denver Nuggets, they played okay. I definitely think they can play better. Jokic can be a little bit more aggressive. Obviously Jamal Murray can play a lot better. It's not starting the game off. Shooting the ball 1 for 5. 1 for 7, 1 for 8 can definitely make a little bit more Jamex on that. But for them to shoot the ball as poorly as they did, to be right there in the game. But I just think, if you Minnesota Timberwolves, you feel good because this is what you wanted. You wanted to set a tone in game one, at least still a game away, which feel you good. Cause now the pressure is all on the Nuggets now to win game two. You came in, you set out what you needed to do, what you stole the game. And whether you win or lose game two or not, you still set up a great position because now all you got to do is make sure you protect your home floor. Once you go back home, and you can make this you can go ahead, not close the series, but basically close out the series. Uh, so yeah, man, but I'm happy. I'm just happy to see the type of growth that we're seeing from Anthony Edwards in real time right now. Like I said in the last video, just the shot making ability, the competitiveness that he got, the defensive will that he played with, the type of chip on his shoulder that he played with, and just to see the playmaking, especially from last series, from this game right here in game one. He only had one turnover. I think he just more so just let the game come to him instead of forcing the action, in which I think he ultimately came out with 39 points and making big shots, just giving whatever the defense gave him, taking whatever the defense give him. And I just think he was very patient in his game, and you know, they're gonna need more of what Ant did in game one and more of a supporting cast, what they gonna need going into game two, and more from this series if they want to win. But from Denver, you just gonna need to find more ways to be able to get Jamal Murray going, because they started off the game with Anthony Edwards, which I thought they was gonna start with Jay McDaniels on him. Put a little more length, somebody who could contain dribble penetration. Dribble penetration. Not saying that Anthony Edwards can't, because I just think Anthony Edwards, he bring a little bit more different defensively, which I kind of like it looking at it. He's a little bit more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball than Jay McDaniels, who, where he could pick up, be rough, be more aggressive with him and pick him up 94 feet, tire him out. you know, he already had, coming into this series, he already was having problems dealing with his calf and things like that. So go ahead, test that calf out. Be aggressive with him, pick him up 94 feet up throughout the whole game, time out. See what that calf really about. You gotta make them earn everything that they get. And yeah, man, I think we in for a good series. Anthony Edwards, watch out, man. Y'all better watch out, man. We watching something special right in front of our eyes. Giving very MJS. We didn't get to see MJ for. I'm speaking my generation personally. Very Kobe, reminiscent Kobe. We watching very reminiscent of LeBron when he first came. We watching a rare talent on display. And we seeing him emerge right in front of our eyes. We can't take it for granted, but. But I do got one more thing before we get out of here. Like I said, this playoffs kind of opened my eyes and showed me like the shift in the league. And like I said, it's getting younger. All these younger teams, you just look at the landscape of the final team that's left in the playoffs. I'm looking at the guys like Paulo Banchero. I'm looking at guys like Anthony Edwards. I'm looking at guys like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Uh, that's taking that type of leap and leading that team and excelling in a playoff setting in their first time, or being that lead guy and just excelling in the playoff role, and got me thinking like, damn man, I wish Cade Cunningham, I can be able to see a guy like Cade Cunningham on this level, because I look at Cade Cunningham on that type of stratosphere, on that type of level as well. I can't leave Tyrese Halliburton out. He's been excelling and playing well throughout these playoffs as well. Another young player, first time. But yeah, it's good to see all this young talent. I think the league is in good hands. That all this new young talent, fresh talent that we got on display. Uh, you've been seeing it right now, man. And I just said all that because I'm looking at Cade. I'm just wondering because I feel like Cade can be up there with those type of talks. I feel like he's one of those guys in that young era, in that young group. We seen the Jaws and we seeing the Ants now. We seeing the Shades. We seeing what Luka did before. We still seeing him now. Tyrese Halliburton. I think Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, like I said earlier in the video, I think they got a chance to make the playoffs and showcase what they can do. Zion and Cade Cunningham is the last ones from that breed, from that young breed dynamic that I need to see in the playoff setting and see who they really is for real. But I think this gonna conclude our video, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all head over to the Spotify, Apple Music. Make sure you type in Off the Bench Show underscore YouTube, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Off the Bench Show underscore all together. No spaces, Off the Bench Show underscore TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me there. Also Spotify, audio platform, streaming platforms. Make sure y'all go run them streams up on there as well. Trying to become the number one podcast, in our genre. So y'all make sure y'all get those streams up and well. Make sure y'all leave a like button on this video, on this episode. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button so y'all know whenever a new upload drop, because we will be doing after every game starting this. Like I said, starting today it will be almost daily uploads. Whenever a game come on, from now on to the end of the playoffs, we gonna be right here talking about it, discussing it, getting the initial reaction right after the game. So make sure y'all subscribe, man. We're gonna be right here. I got a lot more in tune in store for y'all throughout these playoffs and even throughout after the playoffs. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe, man. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.